A very good evening to you. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight for the primetime news here at Kutv. We are up to date to keep you informed of the latest developments across the world and even within Kenya. But first, let's get an introduction, rather the highlights.
You are our last hope. Kenyan families urge government action to repatriate citizens allegedly recruited into the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Governor Vinya Ndeti assures suppliers of transparent payment after 3.81 billion audit. Opposition assures Gikomba traders of protection following the demolitions. CS Geoffrey Ruku urges Kalonzo Musyoka to join Kenya Kwanza for Ukambani region's benefit.
With Ms. Mutava Mungeli ready for the sign language interpretation, but remember that we're also live across all our social media platforms. On YouTube, it's Kutv News Kenya. On X, it's KUTV_Kenya. Welcome. Families of Kenyans allegedly recruited into the Russian army in Eastern Europe have risen alarm this week, accusing agents of deception. They say hundreds were lured with job promises but ended up in combat zones. The families are now urging the Kenyan government to intervene and facilitate their safe return home.
Concern is growing among families of Kenyans reportedly recruited into the Russian army, with claims emerging of deception and forced deployment to combat zones.
It partly covers some of the...
Speaking at a press release led by the Vocal African chairman Said Khalid, stated that about 772 individuals signed contracts with over 500 already deployed or in the process. At least 5 Kenyans are reported dead, including some who resisted deployment orders, while about 20 others are injured and hospitalized.
Been deployed, as we said, there are those that have already been deployed and those that are being deployed. There were some who refused, and the information that we have is that they were killed. So that process of deployment is ongoing. But 518, according to credible reports, are being deployed. Some already gone, some are in the process of being deployed to active combat zones.
Relatives claim many victims were misled with promises of civilian jobs such as driving, only to be subjected to brief military training before being sent to active combat zone. Communication with those deployed has largely ceased, leaving families in fear and uncertainty. Some parents say they believed their sons had secured legitimate overseas employment, only to later learn they had been recruited into military service.
And for sure he was promised a job as a driver, and he was told he would be going to get medicine all the way from China to the military camp. Only when to reach in the military camp, they were told they have to go for a training. He can't just be going to the military without a small training of being in the military. And so they were told to go for 3 weeks training.
Families and stakeholders are now urging the government, media, and religious leaders to amplify the issue, demanding immediate intervention to secure the safe return of affected individuals, transparent communication, and accountability for those responsible. Concerns have also been raised over the lack of official Kenyan involvement in the contract and the government's response, which families describe as low and inadequate.
The government has not offered any solution into that, and we would really urge the government that if it is possible for the Kenyans who have died in the war front,
communicate to the next of kin. The State Department for Diaspora Affairs they have a unit, a counseling unit, which provides psychosocial support for returnees and to families of those missing or those who may have perished. We also have a program to have structured reintegration.
Families of Kenyans who are recruited in the Ukraine-Russian war are now calling on the government to intervene in bringing back their loved ones, whether alive or dead. Murugiga Ki, KUTV, Nairobi.
County suppliers have received a major assurance from Governor Wavinya Ndeti that all verified pending bills will be settled transparently. Speaking at Matungulu Girls Senior Schools, the governor detailed how her administration inherited 3.81 billion in claims, but after verification, only 2.13 billion was found legitimate. And as Yvonne Kemuma reports, she confirmed that 642 million has already been paid.
Sisi kama county government ya Machakos, we respect our suppliers. They are the ones that make the county grow. Yes, as the county government of Machakos, I found a bill of 3.8 billion from the previous government. And if you look at that money, that is development money for a whole year, even zinapita whole year. So, ile bill kwanza nilipata mimi ilikuwa kubwa sana. Saa hii nimereduce na over 450 million. Na ninaenda tu kila wakati nikireduce. Ukiangalia pending bill zangu ni kidogo na nimeweka statement mumeona hapo. Kwa hivyo wale wote wamefanya kazi county ya Machakos, we pay them and we continue paying them. Hauwezi kukataa kulipa mtu yule amefanya kazi, lazima mtu alipwe bwana. Hiyo ni pesa anaomba bank ndio akuja kufanya nini? Kufanya kazi, but there's a due process.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Intergovernmental Relations Technical Committee, Dr. Kipkirui Chepkwony, has urged an immediate ceasefire between senators and governors amid escalating tensions, warning that the standoff threatens devolution gains, disrupts service delivery, and undermines cooperative governance essential for effective public administration nationwide. Here's more with Edna Nerea.
A deepening standoff between senators and governors has triggered alarm, with the Chief Executive Officer of the Intergovernmental Relations Technical Committee, Dr. Kipkirui Chepkwony, warning the escalating dispute could delay county funding, cripple oversight, and derail devolution, urging for urgent dialogue in the country.
Alternative dispute resolution, but even before that,
Dr. Chepkwony urged senators and governors to de-escalate tensions and embrace dialogue, warning the standoff risk undermining devolution, delaying critical funding, weakening oversight mechanisms, and disrupting service delivery, stressing cooperation is essential to safeguard public interest.
To ensure where there are gaps or lagunas in law in implementation of the expectations of the Constitution, that they should be able to proceed and provide legislation, regulations, or even guidelines on how such disputes can be handled. At the end of the day, the expectation of the country or the citizenry is that each level is expected to perform their duties within the confines of the law.
He also emphasized the need to respect constitutional frameworks for resolving disputes, urging both sides to use established intergovernmental mechanisms. He raised concerns over the boycott of Senate proceedings, warning prolonged conflict could stall legislation and disrupt essential county services.
It is imperative also to mention that there have been concerns that have been raised by either levels of government, either entities. Both the Council of Governors have raised their concerns about Senate, and Senate have raised their concerns. And I think the Constitution has provided quite a number of frameworks and guidelines and avenues that can provide room for consultation to be able to address any emerging issues in performance of their mandates.
The call is, however, coming just days after COG chairperson Ahmed Abdullahi demanded the immediate withdrawal of arrest warrants against governors as tensions between senators and governors continue to escalate following the boycott of Senate County Public Accounts Committee sitting over allegations of harassment and extortion.
We demand the immediate withdrawal of the alleged warrants of arrests, if any, we've not seen any, or any coercive measures against governors pending an impartial determination of this matter. Additionally, we urge the Office of the Inspector General of Police to establish the veracity of matters to avoid miscarriage of justice.
The standoff highlights widening institutional crack between the Senate and the governors, with growing calls for restraint and structured engagement to avert further escalation that could weaken oversight systems, strain intergovernmental relations, and compromise effective service delivery to citizens across counties. Edna Nerea, KUTV, Nairobi.
The small-scale business owners in Gikomba Market, Nairobi, were joined by the United Alternative Government team, which classified the brutal nightmare raid on the establishments as ignorant and unrepentant. Speaking in Gikomba Market that was recently brought down at night by government, the Alternative Government has described it as an international shame, saying the regime, whose fortunes are evidently dwindling, would choose to target helpless traders at the bottom of the economic pyramid, while the powerful continue looting the country to unprecedented levels.
Sisi nataka kutoa ahadi kwa watu ya Gikomba. Mwaka ujao tukipata serikali, watu ya Gikomba mutafanya kazi pahali mulifanya tangu zamani. Na hata Kasongo, ukiiba hii shamba ya Gikomba 15.5 acres, tukiingia kwa serikali wiki ya kwanza tutachukua hiyo shamba kutoka kwako, tulegeshe watu ya Gikomba. Wewe Kasongo, umetangaza vita na maskini, umetangaza vita na watu ya pale chini, umetangaza vita na mahasola, unahangaisha mahasola, unahangaisha kila mtu. Kwa nini Kasongo umetangaza vita na maskini wa Kenya?
Hii ni court order. Hii hapa ni court order kusema watu wa Gikomba wasibomolewe manyumba yao na mahali ya biashara, lakini Ruto akaleta usiku wa manane mabuldoza na kuharibu mali ya umma.
Moving on, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, has intensified voter registration in Nyeri County, targeting 139,892 new voters in the ongoing enhanced continuous voter registration exercise. Nyeri IEBC manager Peter Mauta has it that 20,019 voters have been registered since March the 30th, with strong youth participation dominating turnout. The commission aims to expand the country's register to 621,524 ahead of the 2027, working closely with local administrators, civil society and religious groups to boost civic participation.
Since we started registration of voters, that is last year September, Nyeri County has registered 9,612 Nyeri Town constituency, so far we have registered 3,519. For the last 3 days, when we started this enhanced continuous voter registration, as some people normally call it mass registration, we have registered 2,019. So far, we do not have any challenges. Everyone has got 3 KEMS kits that are managed by 3 clerks.
Now, by that story, we are due to taking a very short commercial break. We'll be back with more stories. Stay tuned.
Miti miti, panda panda, miti miti. Our planet's future is in our hands. However, there is a threat to the brightness of this tomorrow. On EarthCheck, we share the challenges, the solutions, and the hope.
I would call this a very momentous day, a very critical day.
Every episode, every story, every step we take creates a ripple. Join me, the environmentalist Emmanuel Kutosi, on KUTV every Wednesday at 8 p.m. and be part of EarthCheck. Welcome.
Welcome back. Cabinet Secretary for the Human Capital Development, Geoffrey Ruku, has formally invited Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka to cross over to the Kenya Kwanza government. Speaking in Mwingi North, Ruku urged that Kalonzo's 4 decades of public service would deliver more for Ukambani from inside government than from opposition. He also floated a possible 2032 alliance with Deputy President Kithure Kindiki.
In a direct speech delivered during the relief food distribution in Mwingi North, Cabinet Secretary Geoffrey Ruku has urged former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka to abandon the opposition and join President William Ruto's administration.
Yule tunajua ni mtu mungwana. Tunajua ni mtu mungwana, lakini anadanganywa na mtu ya roho chafu ya kutoka uko wa Monyoro. Kwa hivyo tunasema huyo mtu wa ukabila wawachane na Kalonzo. Kalonzo ni mtu mzuri, ni mtu anaweza yakalishwa chini, aingie kwa serikali, wafanye kazi pamoja na serikali.
Ruku said Kalonzo's 40 years career in public service, including as vice president, cabinet minister and ambassador, is being wasted on the sidelines.
Sisi tunajua Kalonzo Musyoka alifanya kazi miaka 40. Mimi nilikuwa primary school, nilikuwa nasoma. Kalonzo Musyoka akiwa waziri katika serikali ya Moi. Miaka 40.
Additionally, he accused Rigathi Gachagua of deceiving Kalonzo for selfish political gains. Ruku also suggested Kalonzo should begin talks with the Deputy President Kithure Kindiki to build a formidable government ticket in 2032.
Kuna mtu Kalonzo Musyoka anapaswa kutafuta. Atafute ndugu yake Profesa Kithure Kindiki, wakae chini, wanjue vile wataunda serikali ya 2032.
The CS further dismissed tribal politics as outdated, insisting that Kenyans must now vote based on performance. Yvonne Kemuma, KUTV.
Crossing over to Mombasa, Mombasa Governor Abdul Swamad Nasir has announced 45-day, 100% waiver on land rate, penalties and interest to help residents cope with the tough economic conditions and recover over 1 billion arrears. The directive issued in consultation with finance and lands officials targets thousands of defaulters. Abdul Swamad said the waiver aims to boost compliance by allowing property owners to clear principal debts without extra charges, payment of principals dues, only warning that enforcement will resume after 45 days, urging property owners to clear arrears to sustain county services.
In the spirit that we might be having some form of economic hardships, and in the spirit that we equally need to be able to ensure that constitutional obligations are met and legal obligations are met, it is within the power of the CC, upon consultation with myself, the CC for Finance, whereby any penalties and fines that are due from certain revenue streams, and in this instance, I want to lay emphasis on matters of land rates. We have made a decision that for the next 45 days, commencing yesterday, 1st of April, for the next 45 days, there will be a total 100% waiver.
Following the successful completion of 100 affordable housing units at Majimbo, Embu, residents are urging the national government to utilize idle land for more affordable homes. Led by Simon Giru, they highlighted a severe housing shortage fueled by rapid urban growth. The community proposes moving people to urban centers to free up rural land for agriculture, enhancing food security. S. Bonyaga noted that the project significantly boosted the local economy, with Juakali artisans earning 10.9 million shillings. Expanding these projects will continue providing jobs for youth and dignified shelters.
Hizi mashamba unaona huku zimekaa aendo tangu usijui miaka ngapi iliyopita. Sasa tunataka tuwaambie hivi, wale watu serikali ikuje isimame kindete na iweze kujenga manyumba hapa Injayo.
Hii project ile watu imesaidia kabla isimame hapo, imesaidia watu wengi sana. Nimeona watu wa Juakali wameweka, ndio walikuwa wanaweka mandirisa. Nimeona chuma ilikuwa inasukuliwa hapa kwa watu yetu, simiti ilikuwa inanunuliwa hapa kwa watu.
A new bill before Parliament proposes to transform Kenya's livestock sector through digital animal identification and traceability. The INITRAC Bill 2016 will allow farmers to register livestock using RFID microchips and visual ear tags, enabling real-time tracking, disease outbreak response and recovery of stolen animals. Speaking during public participation in Kisii, Dr. William Akwibi said the system will open international markets by meeting global traceability standards. Dr. Alan Kimutai confirmed the system has been piloted in seven other government farms and will roll out to 6 counties. Crucially, farmers will receive the service free of charge for the next 5 years.
Here we have come with a bill which we call Animal Identification and Traceability Bill, which has been developed recently. Now this bill is a further development of the earlier bill which was called the Branding Act, which has been overtaken by events. Technologies have changed. So the Branding Act is the one that we used to have, and originally it used to have basically the issue of hot iron branding, ile ya kuchoma. But now with the AniTrack, we have got new technologies that have come, the electronic, those ones which are live, that you can know the position of the animal as it moves around. So this bill is basically trying to provide for that, and we have brought it here so that the stakeholders can have a look, examine it. If there are any things they feel they are not comfortable with, there are concerns about it, they can advise us so that we can revise it in the process of finalizing it before it goes to Parliament.
Now, on to sports news. A new bill, after landing in a challenging pool at the World Championship Series in Hong Kong, Kenya Sevens' journey back to the top division, the 2026-2027 HSBC SVNS Division 1, will become even more challenging. Shujaa advanced to the World Championship, a three-leg competition scheduled to take place in Hong Kong from April the 17th to 19th, Valladolid, Spain from May 29th to 31st, and Bordeaux, France from June 5th to 7th, after being placed second in the second tier as HSBS. The 8 teams currently in the top 5 flight Division 1, including South Africa, second place Fiji, third place Australia, New Zealand, France, Argentina, Spain, and Great Britain, will be joined in the three-leg by Kenya, HSBC Sevens leaders USA, Hungary, and Germany. Well, that is all we had for you tonight. Trust you've been informed well enough, and do have a lovely evening ahead of the Good Friday.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner?